South Auckland for more than 100,000 Pacific Islanders. It's the place they call home, a cultural melting pot and the breeding ground for some of the finest players known to the game of rugby.
Yeah.
And tonight, a migration north to the North Shore, Rangitoto Island from Takapuna, the guns of the Devonport. Yes, North Harbour country, lapdogs and lattes. And a capacity crowd expected here tonight at North Harbour Stadium of 30,000 All Black and Pacific fans alike. Looking forward to this one. It will be a huge encounter from the North Harbour Stadium at Albany. Yes, hello and welcome to 3 Sport. I'm Hamish Mackay. It's the 4th test of season 2004 for Graham Henry's All Black side. 2 great wins over the world champion England side, and then 2 weeks ago it was Argentina who were cleaned up. The Pacific Islanders made their debut on the international stage last Saturday night in Adelaide, and they put up a fair old fight, didn't they, against Eddie Jones's Wallabies before going down in a close one at the end there. Looking forward to a absolute rip snorter tonight, and it is going to be a big occasion for number 14 in the All Blacks tonight, making his test debut, the latest All Black from Gisborne Boys High School, the boy from Poverty Bay, Rico Gear. He will, I'm sure, have a big one tonight. Looking forward to his debut, Rico Gear. Right now, though, time to catch up with some of the key All Blacks.
They say never give a sucker an even break, and after Mosi Tui'ili's outstanding debut against Argentina, Xavier Rush is happy to reclaim his starting number 8 jersey for the All Blacks matchup against the Pacific Islanders, a side whose confrontational approach rattled the Wallabies, in particular head coach Eddie Jones.
Well, I don't know what he was expecting. I mean, that's how the Islanders tackle, basically. They're very physical. A lot of our guys are used to it. We play alongside a lot of the faces in the island side, and we're used to it just by playing club rugby and things like that.
Another who knows what to expect tonight from his island cousins is the Fijian-born try-scoring machine, Joe Rokothoko.
Pretty much the same as the Barbarians. We're playing the game, it's season ball. Not much of the kickers though, but big talent within the team, and they like to use the ball not just in the backs but in the forwards as well.
We haven't spent much time together, but they obviously showed against that test against Australia that they got some firepower out wide and some dangerous loosies as well.
Dangerous loosies, what an understatement. Leading the way for the Islanders is the rampaging Sione Luaki. He's terrorised defences all season. His match-winning try for the Chiefs against the Blues is fresh in the mind of Blues skipper Xavier Rush.
Certainly I've played a fair bit alongside Sione, and I've seen him obviously playing for the Chiefs this year, and he's been in fantastic form actually.
Some of the boys I've played along, some of them are relatives. Once they're forwards, have a good go on. Especially the Wallabies show they can actually hold guys like Sione Luaki. Guys like that, you got to take them down.
Which is what the All Blacks must do: defend strongly and take advantage of any attacking opportunities.
I think we've got to keep stepping up, especially because we have the Tri Nations starts next week, and we have Australia. So I think this is just another stepping stone on the way to that first game against Oz.
As a forward, it's obviously been very good with our set piece in terms of our scrum and our line-out. That's first and foremost been effective at the breakdown, and if we can do those 3 things, then I think we'll get the result we want.
What most All Black fans want is the try-scoring heroics of Joe Rokothoko to continue. The All Black flyer has now scored 22 tries in the black jersey.
Hopefully, because every time I play against the Pacific Island team, I always struggle. They always make sure I never went across, especially every time I played against Fiji on the 7th side. But to score against the Pacific Island would be a big thrill, I guess. It's I guess they'll be there to try to knock you down and take you back to your roots.
Yes, I'm sure it's going to be an absolute humdinger. And as a mark of respect, Graham Henry has pretty much gone to what is his A-team. The basis of the side who did the business against the world champions England. Just Richie McCaw still out with those headaches related to concussion. Marty Holler starts on the open side. And with Rico Gear coming into the team, it is Muls Muliaina at fullback. Yes, indeed, the A-team. And speaking of the A-team, joining the Three Sport commentary team once again tonight, Frank Bunce. Frank, nice to have you here. Now, Pacific Island Rugby, Samoa, something that's very close to your heart.
Yeah, it is. You know, I got my break into international rugby with the Samoan team, and as you say, dear to my heart, and very happy.
Okay, 8,000 odd club rugby players in Auckland. 65% of them are Pacific Islanders. What do you think of this concept of this team? And it is a good boost for Island rugby.
It is a good boost. Great concept, you know, and only improve the nature of the game. I like the concept, and I like what's happening tonight, but I just hope it's not to the detriment of the individual island nations. Their rugby is important as well, so let's not forget that.
Okay, fair point. Right, during the week, Eddie Jones has been talking about the tough tackling of the Pacific Islanders. Is that what we're going to expect tonight?
Oh, I'm sure. You know, it's part of the game that, you know, Pacific Island teams, all of them, love the physical nature, as we're seeing here on screen. Great commitment to the hits, you know, bodies on the line. They just go, you know, go and go and go. It's going to happen tonight. The All Blacks expect it, and the Islanders will deliver.
Yeah, some real smash bang there. Fantastic stuff. How do you reckon it'll pan out in the end, though? What sort of scoreline do you think might happen?
Well, I think the All Blacks will get away comfortably enough in the end, but they're going to have to work pretty hard for it.
Okay, Frank, you're down sideline. Looking forward to that. That's Frank Bunce, of course. Now your chance to win with the Ford All Black Experience. Now, each week we have the competition where the correct entries go in the draw to win 3 weekly prizes of the Ford All Black Experience. That's for a child and an adult to become an All Black for 2 days. Hang out with the team, eat with the team, watch them train. It's got to be fantastic. It's the Ford All Black Experience.
Strength of mind and of body. Engage. Win the Ford All Blacks Experience with Three's Rugby Masterminds. A test of trivia where if you know rugby, you could clinch the game and a prize. Here's this week's question.
The ultimate moment of this game, and it's been a game of moments for sure. Jonah Lomu, some may say, the ultimate rugby player.
Who scored the match-winning try for the All Blacks against Australia in Sydney in their 2000 cliffhanger? Was it 1, Jonah Lomu, 2, Christian Cullen, or 3, Case Muse? Text AB and your answer to 3223, or buy a new Ford vehicle to enter the draw to win a place for you and a child to become an All Black in training in the Ford All Blacks Experience. Be watching Three's coverage to see if you're a winner.
And congratulations to our latest winners of the Ford All Blacks Experience. Well done there. Of course, they got the correct answer of the big try scorer in Sydney last year, Joe Rakathoko. Counting down, getting ready to get it on. Rico Gear on debut. Muls Muliaina back to fullback tonight for the All Blacks. Smoking Joe Rakathoko. How many tries will he get tonight? Looking forward to it as we count down on 3 Sport.
The revolution now has just begun. Bring out your jingles, yo.
It's a huge honour because there's been so many great players in the past that are from Island descent, and you know, we've always talked about it in the past as well. What if we had this team, this awesome team of great players come together and you know, front up for the Pacific Islanders? So now it's a reality, and we realise that we're very lucky to be in that position to be a part of that first team.
We've got good coaches and real good players. We've got a lot of players that in Super 12, and sort of like the best of the best from Samoa, from the 3 unions. And I think that's why we're really strong. I think for me, the reason I'm playing well is because I got such a real good forward pack in front of me, and we've got speed to burn. Just like a first-class gene, really just pass the ball and back up.
Test match is a test match, and you've got to, you know, lift. Doesn't matter whether you're the first or the last team. And you know, hopefully we're not going out there to be like we said last week. We're not going out to be cannon fodder for the Wallabies. You know, we want to take it to them, and against New Zealand we want to do the same. And you know, we're looking forward to doing that. And hopefully come up with a win. First test win for the Islanders. Came close last week, just a few mistakes, but we've got to fix them up and take it into the All Blacks, which will be, I think, a lot tougher side than the Wallabies.
It's a wonderful combination of culture and power. The Punjab Pacific Islanders, the Tongans pretty much make up the forward pack, sprinkling of Samoan skill, and Fijian flyers in the loose and out wide for the Pacific Islanders. And funnily enough, look at this. There's the big man Tonga Uia practicing their tackling. Sione Loaki, Brian Lima. Oh, don't they look fantastic? The Pacific Islanders looking forward to their part in this big one tonight here between the All Blacks and the visitors from South Auckland Way and the South Seas. The Pacific Islanders. Radio time now to check out the head-to-head in the forwards. Graham Henry has gone back to the front row, who dealt to England. Case Muse at loosehead, Kevin Maialamu and Carl Heyman. And they lock horns with an all-Tongan affair. Ponsonby's New Zealand colt, Sione Tonga Uia, is at loosehead, with Bay of Plenty NPC players Aleki Lutui and Tofa'o Felici. At just 25, Chris Jack is something of a veteran, and he locks with Chiefs hardman Keith Robinson. Their opponents, Tongan and former Hurricane Inoki Awhiaki and Fijian Ifiremi Rawanga. In the loose, Jono Gibbs and Xavier Rush have proved the value of experience. Marty Holler once again replaces the injured Richie McCaw. On the blind side for the Pacific Islanders, the man Michael Jones calls the new Willie O. The bullocking Sione Loaki, teaming up with tough Fijians Dovi Virata and Koya Maibole. Here's the heavyweight packs. That's how they line up tonight. And the heavyweight member of the Three Sport commentary team is Mark the Bull Allen. And Bull, well, how do you see this one panning out? Your expectations?
Well, there's been a lot of talk about the Pacific Islanders big hitting. To counter that, the All Blacks need to do their set piece as well. Scrum line out. Their kicking game is going to be vital. Field position at all times. And don't get isolated with the ball in hand, because that's when you get in big trouble against these Pacific Islanders.
Okay, some magnificent head-to-head clashes tonight. And there's the one that starts with the word Chiefs. And that, of course, is Sione Loaki coming up against the Chief skipper, Jono Gibbs.
They play different games, these two guys, Hamish. You just look at the metres made by Loaki. Very good with the ball in hand, where Jono Gibbs, less metres made, but very good at line-out time, and also hits a lot more breakdowns. Loaki, more effective in the loose, where Gibbs does all that tight grafting, unseen work.
Okay. In a funny sort of way, I guess you could say that they are two of the finds of the season, Jono Gibbs and Sione Loaki.
Well, it's no coincidence that the Chiefs did so well this year, because these guys were involved. They played big parts in that Chiefs performance, and now they go head-to-head tonight, and it's going to be a huge clash between these two guys.
Okay, number 10 at first 5'8", as always, will be crucial, the kicking game tonight. It's Carlos Spencer against the man from the Borders Club in Scotland, former Hurricane Tanner Villi.
Yeah, Tanner Villi's a very effective player. Look at his metres made there. He's very good in open play, makes breaks and creates opportunities for the Pacific Islanders. The big difference in their stats is Carlos Spencer, 35 passes made as opposed to 17, so distributes the ball a lot more, and you'd have to say that he gets the ball in the hand a lot more than Tanner Villi.
Yeah, Tanner Villi, his kicking game will be crucial, though. He was criticised for that in Adelaide last week.
Yeah, and rightly so. Their kicking game was a little bit woeful at times, so they would have concentrated on that during the week and certainly prepared better in that aspect of their game.
Okay, looking forward to the clash of a couple of smoking Fijians out wide. The cousins, Joe Rokothoko and Sidavini Sivavatu.
Well, impressive stat there. Joe Rokothoko, 3 line breaks per game. That's very impressive, and when he gets those line breaks, he's very creative.
Yeah,
what he does,
crucial. Yep.
Definitely. But Sivivatu, similar stats there, and I mean he's come on in leaps and bounds. Once again, a Chiefs player who's really fronted this year.
Okay, how do you see it panning out? What's the score?
Well, it's going to take the All Blacks a little bit of work to grind these guys down, but they will. They're better prepared, I think, for playing the Pacific Islanders and the Wallabies, and I think that we'll run away with it later on in the game.
Okay, cheers, Bull. Rightio, there's we've had a look at how some of the backs stack up there. Let's have a look at the rest of the back line, head-to-heads. The All Black inside-back combination of Justin Marshall and Carlos Spencer have more than 100 tests between them. Fijian Mosesi Rauluni teams up with Tanner Villi from the Borders Club in Scotland. He's played just 10 test matches, but already Daniel Carter has superstar written all over his general play, not to mention his dead-eye Dick goal kicking, while Tana Umanga is revelling in the captaincy. Opposing them, the Bruise brothers, Fiji's Jeremiah Mbai, and the chiropractor, because that's where his tackling sends you, Brian Lima. Joe Rokafoko continues to smoke it on the left wing, with Mills Miliaina back to fullback, and the Gisborne Boys High old boy Rico Gere debuts on the right wing. And there's pace aplenty in the visitors' back three. Sitiveni Sivavatu is joined by Highlander Seru Rambeni and his fellow Chiefs wingman Lomi Fa'atau. On the All Black bench, Greg Somerville gets a chance to prove he can prop both sides of the scrum, while Nick Evans drops out of the top starting 15. For the Pacific Islanders, Highlanders lock Filippo Levy is there, while Stephen So'oialo is the brother of former All Black Rodney. Enjoying the wonderful colour of the pre-match entertainment here at North Harbour Stadium in Albany. It certainly is a magnificent vista as the three nations, Fiji, Tonga, Samoa, coming together as the Pacific Islanders, as we count down on 3 Sport to the All Blacks against the smiling cousins from all parts of the South Seas.
Free up your channels, y'all! Yeah. Goes out to all the South Pacific Islands, all South Pacific people. This goes out to each and every one worldwide. Yo, Samoa, we going Starburn. Aotearoa, we going Starburn. Out in Fiji, we going Starburn. Starburn, yeah. Come on, all my homies going Starburn.
Welcome to North Harbour Stadium, Albany, for New Zealand against the Pacific Islanders. A wonderful new concept in world rugby. And that man there, Dominic, famous man from Aggie Gray's Hotel in Apia, will be leading out the Pacific Islanders team to perform the challenge that they will lay down to this All Black side. And what a challenge it will be too. There they are. The big man of the South Seas. There's Filippo Levy on the bench tonight. Semo Satiti also on the bench. Samoan captain at the World Cup last year. They are a daunting proposition. A beautiful night it is too. Tomo Piao is the reserve, a prop for the Pacific Islanders side. Solid front row. Tonga Uia, the former New Zealand Colt Ponsonby player, along with Aleki Latui and Felici. And there's Sione Loaki. Was he huge against the Wallabies or what? A star of the Super 12, an absolute rock star of the Super 12. And plenty of talent in this back line too. Sitiveni Sivavatu, pace of plenty, so too Lomi Fa'atau, and the chiropractor, Brian Lima, because that's where his tackling sends you. Huge defensive call there from the selectors on this side. Highlander Seru Rambeni is the man out the back. Jay Lowe, not the movie star, but Joeli Lotawa, the former winger, is the reserve hooker. Levi Satiti, as the Pacific Islanders team acknowledge the crowd support that they have here tonight, and it will be support of plenty as we just stand by for the All Blacks to be led out by Tana Umanga. Chance to bring in Mark the Bull Allen. Bull, wonderful atmosphere. This is going to be an absolute cracker.
Well, it's just about sold out, Hamish. There's not too many seats left. Yeah, there's a man of huge experience, Brian Lima, brought straight back in.
18-year-old at the 1991 World Cup, and Frank Bunce's team there at Samoa as the All Blacks make their way out. Carlos Spencer, big Chris Jack coming back to his very best. Carl Heyman, Marty Holler, wears the number 7 jersey, the Stulno. Richie McCaw, there's Xavier Rush. Mills Miliaina back to his preferred position of fullback. Rico Gere, Joe Rokafoko, out they come. Huge roar for the All Blacks. Gotta like that front row. Muse looking very much at home at loose head prop. Big Keith Robinson is going to play through the pain barrier. Has knee and back problems, but nothing's going to stop him. And Rico Gere, the latest All Black from Gisborne Boys High. I'll be proud tonight in the Poverty Bay. Wearing the number 14 jersey, of course, with Doug Howlett still out injured. Gets his opportunity. Remarkable recovery after being injured in the final Super 12 game for the Blues against the Highlanders a number of weeks back now. Yes, a suggestion earlier that this might have been a bit of a festival game. Think again. Well, this will be absolute test rugby at its very best, I would expect.
Oh, I think so, Hamish. A lot of these guys and both teams are very familiar with each other, so that adds to the fuel, doesn't it?
The fuel here tonight, without a doubt. There's going to be just the one anthem. Of course, not time for 3 anthems, as would be the case for the Pacific Islanders. Sung by Nick Arfoa himself, a mighty fine rugby player who could find himself one day playing in either the All Black or the Pacific Islanders jersey. New Zealand secondary school representative. As we get ready for the challenge, Carlos Spencer will be up front for the haka. Dominic Finolti, those of you who've been lucky enough to stay up in the islands at Aggie Gray's Hotel will know he is a famous choreographer of Pacific Island dance. In fact, he was the man who created the Manu Samoa. There he is. Challenge laid down by the Pacific Islanders. Skipper Enoki Alfiaki out front. Here's Carlos Spencer. Big reception for the All Black haka. Mild-mannered off the field, both of them, Enoki Alfiaki and Case Muse, but on it. Oh, she's a different story altogether. As we stand by for kickoff, we might just get a quick check on conditions. Sideline, Frank Butts.
Yeah, Hamish. The typical nighttime rugby dew down here, but a little bit of wind favouring the All Blacks in this half, but good conditions, pretty good conditions, and boy, both teams laying down the challenge early.
Just looking forward to Frank Butt's comments. Sideline tonight on 3 Sport. Referee is Stuart Dickinson from Australia. There's Big Tonga Uia. Enoki Alfiaki. All Blacks, just some last-minute planning going on there. There's the wink. We're going to nudge from Tana Rumanga. Revelling in the All Black captaincy, Marty Holler. As we stand by to get it on. Underway from the boot of Carlos Spencer and taken away straight away by the man from Bay of Plenty, Aleki Latui. Tanavili. Straight away taken up by Koya Mayambole. Turnover ball though, nicely taken in here by the All Blacks. Spencer goes to the air. The kick in behind. Might have a little bit too much weight on it. No! Rakathoko, the magic man, steals a try from nowhere. 23rd Test try. 6th in season 2004. The Rocket Man just keeps getting hotter.
Well, he's so good chasing that ball in the air, Hamish. It all started from the turnover. The Pacific Islanders went in there. Marty Holler just ripped it away. Case Mew's doing some good follow-up work. Carlos Spencer just puts the ball there, and you have to say it was a bit of fortuitous bounce.
You take it though, Bull, don't you? You take it.
A kick is only as good as the chaser, and Joe Rakathoko, as always, Johnny on the spot.
Yeah, Bull, that's a great start. Marty Holler doing some wonderful work in there, all right. Everything falling into place early.
Daniel Carter caught him dead-eyed dick with his goal kicking in the build-up. He hasn't missed a kick this season, I don't think. This one's tough, though.
I hope you haven't put the commentator's curse on him, Hamish.
Thank you, Bull. Pushes it away to the right. Great start, though, by the All Blacks. They lead by 5-0. Try from Joe Rakathoko. Let's have a look at it one more time. And poor old Lomi Fa'atau. Carlos Spencer gave it a bit of the old Daniel Vettori.
Yeah, that's a well-rehearsed move, though, Hamish. I mean, that just wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. They'd practice that all the time at training.
You're right, Paul. I think the only lucky thing was the bounce.
I think that might be a way they go tonight, Frank Bunce, that putting the ball in behind the Pacific Islanders.
Yeah, I think they'd be foolish not to use the wind, use it to their advantage and frustrate the Islanders.
Marshall back for Spencer, across to Carter. A lot of Carter's prodigious left foot. Kicking behind Fa'atau and Seru Rambeni.
That's a wonderful kick from Carter. It's hard to believe this young man is only in his 11th test.
Thank you, Black.
Such a star already.
Here, Black. Here it is, Black.
Now this is an area that the All Blacks, I think, will really try and put the Pacific Islanders to the sword.
So Aleki Latui with the throw. Rawanga goes high, takes it down. Penalty against the All Blacks. Obstruction at the line-out. And a chance for the Pacific Islanders to relieve some of this early pressure.
And this is where, if they can get parity in set pieces, this Pacific Islanders team are going to be a real threat tonight.
Tanavili played rugby 3 or 4 seasons, involved with the Hurricanes. Plays these days up in the Borders Club in Scotland. Big Keith Robinson. Let's have a look at this obstruction if we can just see it. There he is. Here, clearly taking the man.
Keep going.
Very, very clear and correct ruling from the sole judge of fact tonight, Mr. Stuart Dickinson. Good ball down the back, Tanavili. Here they go, Mbai. Oh, the huge hit comes in from Rico Gear. Good first up tackle for him. Here's Mosesi Roluni. Spent most of his life in Queensland. Australian age grade representative. Back for Vili. Muliaina back in the familiar role. Fullback after a few trots on the wing. Pacific Islanders have possession. Kick and chase, nicely weighted by Seru Rambeni. Tonga Uia, good work from the prop in there.
Great chase up.
Brian Lima has a touch. And a bit of a crash too. Vili flicks it off to Dovi Virata, the Fijian. Alafaretti, Dovi Virata. Oh, Rambeni goes without it. Aleki Latui, a man who didn't have a Super 12 contract this year. Hard to believe, almost.
Yeah, he did very well there, Hamish. The ball was static. They're just grinding it forward a couple of metres at a time, doing some good work here, the Pacific Islanders.
Good pattern to their play, of course, with men like Michael Jones, Willie Arthur-Hengawe, Johnny the Shoe Schuster involved in their coaching. Tonga Uia. Nice tackle laid down in the end by Kevin Mayalamu. Latui, he's had 5 or 6 touches already. Villi, well, they keep looking for this channel up the middle. Here's Felici, the big tight head prop, still going, only 7 metres out. They look to keep it left. Villi, quick hands, Brian Lemar. Holler and Gear make the desperate tackle from the All Blacks. Great start by the Pacific Islanders. Villi, here we go again. Felici, 11 phases. Roluni, oh, big chance here. Serema and by Rambeni, Cyril Rambeni, only inches away, he's over. First try of the match. Scored by the Pacific Islanders, who have started this game with magnificent continuity, support play and ball protection, Ball Allen.
Oh, wonderful structure. I mean, the coaching staff have really done their work with this side. You could just see the way they set the phases. They just hammered it down the blind side, and they had runners left, right and centre. The big prop forward here, Felici. I thought he perhaps could have passed there, but he chose to go. God, he showed some great skills, didn't he? Strength, skills, and they just recycled the ball quickly. Quick ball, which gives you plenty of options. They just had players queuing up left, right and centre, and Rambini showed some wonderful strength to grind his way over right under the post. Wasn't bad, was it, Bunty?
Oh, they have the lead too, Frank.
Yeah, it was a great try. The important part was they kept possession up phase after phase after phase. Didn't lose their patience, didn't lose their structure, but you got to admire the skills, the offloading of the ball, 50-50 pass, well, what we'd call 50-50 passes. And you see them under the post.
There's the All Black team, the team that has had so much said about it after wins over the world champions. They've got to take a bit of time to suck it in, slow it down.
A lot of these guys haven't played for a few weeks, Hamish, so it's going to take them a little while to get the cobwebs out. You can grind away on a practice field for hours, but it's not the same as a proper match.
Here's a danger man, Loaki, laid down by Xavier Rush. Rolini, just more ball.
Well, these Pacific Islanders, this is their 4th game on the trot, so they've had some time together and they've gelled very well, haven't they?
Knocked forward by the All Blacks, so they have gelled well. Been immensely impressed by what we've seen in the first 7 minutes of this game.
You know, it's interesting hearing them talk through the media this week, because obviously between the 3 nations there's a lot of rivalry. They said they've just come together so quickly, which is wonderful. Knock on there from Tana Rumanga.
Well, a lot of the doomsayers were suggesting that the 3 nations wouldn't come together. Well, I think in the age of professional rugby, we've probably moved on from that sort of attitude.
Well, this is the first new test team in 80 years. I mean, it's great. This is what the game needs, something new.
We have the British and Ireland Irish Lions. They are an integral part of world rugby. Why shouldn't this be? And what a start. Well, one against the head, though. Well, but Jono Gibbs can't control it. Play on, says referee Dickinson. And they get away with it here. Back to Tanavilli onto the right foot. And he hoofs it into touch.
Yeah, the Pacific Islanders scrum there showing a few creaks, though. Case Muse doing a good job on the loose head side, able to screw it. But the All Blacks losing it forward and the Islanders regathered. Let's have a look at this. The spins around, the ball goes loose. And Jono Gibbs, Loaki just took him out there and lost the pill.
Lealamu goes downtown to Xavier Rush, takes it in. Back for Spencer. It's gone straight up in the air and coming straight down. Knocked back on the All Black side to Keith Robertson. Back for Marshall. Wide pass out to Muliaina. Oh, high tackle on him. Wasn't dangerous, but still high, nevertheless. And the penalty goes the way of the All Blacks.
Just hang on. Just hang on. Back we go. 13 slotting in, mate. Roll away, please. Got a touch judge report. Just move back, please.
Touch judge coming in here. Let's have a look just to see. Oh, no, that's high. That's a coat hanger.
Yes, he put the big gag on Mills Muliaina there.
Yeah, you have a look at it on the replay. It's not part of the game.
Well, initially it was a reaction, but he didn't let go, did he? He hung on, so
just a bit higher,
no debate about that.
Roll away, please. Just a
Brian Lemar, known for his tough tackling. Isn't he a veteran? 58 tests for Samoa, dating back to the 1991 World Cup, and they've rushed him into this one pretty quickly as well. Spencer with the penalty. It's too big. It's gone dead and goal. So things not going too well for the All Blacks side in the first 10 minutes of this game. They trailed by 7 points to 5. That miraculous try in the opening seconds. Just having one of those missed tackles there, Bull. That's a telling factor early on. They certainly exposed those channels close into the ruck.
Well, missed tackles relates into possession, and the Pacific Islanders have had most of it, and they're putting all the pressure on. Let's have a close inspection of this scrum, because the Pacific Islanders scrum the last time, particularly on this side. Felici started to creak a bit. It's all very well running around with the ball in hand, but you've got to do your core jobs well, especially at test level.
Felici against Muse on this side.
Look at this. The All Blacks have made 3 or 4 metres straight from the hip.
Marshall getting back to cover this one. Oh, it's an awkward bounce. He just gets the pass away to Mills Muliaina, who ducks under one tackle. Frees it up for Rakathoko. Joe Rakathoko cutting back infield. High shot there from Inoki Afiaki. Don't want to sound like a broken record, but some of those tackles will need to come down. Muliaina, Loaki chasing him. Physical confrontation of the highest order. Marshall. Numbers if they can shift it very, very wide here. Oh, Marty Holler. Unfortunately, hands like feet, and Case Muse just heaves it through. Touch judge in.
4, please.
Touch judge both sides.
Yeah, number 4. That's my tackle. Let's get them down.
The punch there thrown by Case Muse. It takes quite a bit to fire up.
And in on the side.
High Rev Kev Mealamu as well. Inoki Afiaki spoken to.
Joe Rakathoko on the forward replay. Well, that started high, but he's got some great strength. Big Joe.
It's just in an area you just don't go with the tackle, Ball, as far as I'm concerned.
Well,
yeah, I tend to agree with you, Bull. The doubt. I think he hit the ball first and went up, but
well, all of their tackles, Bunsey, are targeted around that ball area, and at times you tend to slip up, don't you?
yeah, there's not much. Yeah, not much room for error there, but I guess in the context of the game, it's something that they're going to have to look at, because can't be giving away penalties.
Bull, this is an area the All Blacks will need to revert to and show some discipline and some presence in the mauling play here.
Yeah, look, this is an area where the Pacific Islanders don't respond too well. Keep it in tight where they can't make the big hits. Keep the numbers around the ball where you're protected. Smart play from the All Blacks.
The All Blacks have come to a stop here, though, just on the 22-metre line, so they'll probably look to get going and get some more momentum here through Marty Holler. Marshall. Back for Spencer, goes to the air once again. Big test for Ramberi. Rakathoko coming through. It was Muliaina. In the end, it's Lomi Fa'atau who puts it down for a restart from the 22. Quick one taken. Waiting back here on his own 10-metre line, Carlos Spencer. 7-5, the Pacific Islanders lead. 12 minutes gone. Marshall looking to change the angles through Rico Gear. Support from Carl Heyman. Marshall again. Umanga trying to step back inside, but Roluni makes a beautiful tackle. Good protection of the ball. Here's Case Muse. Looking to get some way on through Xavier Rush. This is where the All Blacks will have to play it. Keith Robinson. Better stuff from the All Blacks, getting a few sequences together, Ball.
I love the way Keith Robinson stood up and waited for support to get there. Up through the middle, the pick and go with support. Smart play.
Marshall turns it back to Rico Gear, getting involved in close quarters. Spencer. The flick on. Muliaina to John O'Gibbs, waiting out on the wing.
Stay back, please.
Fair to say that was probably out. No, referee doesn't agree.
They're in front of the last feet.
They carry it on. Marshall keeps it going. Muliaina. Mills Muliaina just a metre short. Marshall. Still going. Justin Marshall. A powerful try from the veteran All Black number 9.
Yeah, Justin Marshall, good thinking. He took the quick tap. He started it from the penalty and he also finished it. Look at this one in the forward replay. Went down the blind side, spotted the gap and just used his strength. Sivivatu unable to stop him in the tackle there.
Yeah, some nice strength shown by Justin. All Blacks able to keep a bit of possession, gets him way on, and there's the result. But I think you're right, Hamish. They're going to play it down. They have to play it down in the Islanders' territory. And we've seen Carlos put up a few kicks, get the good chase on. We've seen one try, we profited one try, and I think we're going to carry on with the same tactic. It's working, so we'll keep going with it. But certainly Justin Marshall showing good strength around the ruck.
And good decision making, Bunsey.
Yeah. I mean, you know, how many Test matches the man played? He's got it all.
Justin Marshall, 74th Test match tonight. As Carter comes in with the conversion attempt. And this one's off the upright. So, a couple of unfamiliar kicks, really, from Daniel Carter as far as this season goes. Forward replay one more time. The strength and the experience of the old head, the old warrior, Justin Marshall. Yes, cool heads required from this All Black side. Bull suggested maybe a little bit rusty after a few weeks off, well, basically 3 weeks off for the bulk of this side. It's more a second string side that played against Argentina and Hamilton. Came together late in the week, just on Wednesday. But like an old-fashioned Test preparation. Here's an old-fashioned All Black forward, going forward. Kevin Maialamu. Case Muse loves to get that ball in hand.
They're just mixing it up very well at the moment, Seamus. They're going wide, going back in, just changing the angle of attack. Just a bit of a mistake there. It's turned it over.
They're talking about the Pacific Island tackling. A couple of huge hits in there from Kevin Maialamu. One on Brian Limar that spilled the ball, but the knock on though against the All Blacks.
You just feel the gears are starting to run together for the All Blacks. They're just starting, they've got regathered their composure and things are just starting to work for them. Their hand-to-hand ball passing is just starting to fire now. Oh, Case Muse absolutely destroying Felici. Huge scrum.
Doing very well off the back though, the number 8, Koya Maiambole. That was excellent work by him off a scrum going backwards. Xavier Rush has got Sione Lawaki worked out, gets him to the ground quickly. You've got to do that. That's what John O'Gibbs said during the week. Get him on the deck or else. Tongauia. Spencer scrags him back into Lawaki. Keith Robinson makes the tackle on his Chiefs teammate.
Hands away, hands away!
Stay back, please.
Frantic pace out here. Villy. Turnover ball. Back it comes for Robinson. Heyman, nice skills from the All Black prop. Carter decides to have a bit of a run. Going up the middle, Carter. There's support from Holler. Good tackle though by Cyril Rambeni on halfway. Marty Holler strong on his feet. Now he goes to the ground.
Touch, you're onside, you're onside.
Coming back for it, Lomi Fa'atau. It's the pass across to Sidovini. Sivivatu. And Lawaki gets away this time from Xavier Rush. Oh, good pace from Sione Lawaki. And Sidovini Sivivatu. The Chiefs brothers strike. Lovely try. And it all comes back from what we were talking again about not 90 seconds ago. You don't put Lawaki on the deck, you are in trouble.
Well, there's two men that Graham Henry has talked about, said he'd be watching them, and what a deadly combination. Lawaki, he hovers around out wide, he loves to get the ball in hand.
Well, Sivivatu didn't even know that the ball was coming to him. He just ghosted across and then gave it to Lawaki, who just gives the big push off to Xavier Rush. And the pace from the big man Lawaki.
Yeah, excellent pace. The reason he gets through tackles, Hamish, is when he gets in the confrontation here, he just spreads his legs wide and it's hard to pull his ankles in and drop him. You watch this. As the hit comes in, boom, he just brings those legs through. Powerful, those big tree trunks. Show of the ball and he just flips it inside on the forward replay. Oh, and Sivivatu enjoying every minute of that one.
Yeah,
Time and space ahead of him and the try line beckoning.
I think Frank Bunce might have enjoyed it too.
Yes, well, lovely to watch in full flight, isn't he? We had Carlos Spencer coming across in defence on Loaki, but and signalling for Marty Holler to take Sivivatu, but unfortunately there's no way Marty Holler could keep up with that pace.
Sivivatu, the try, it is converted by Seremai Mbai. 14-10. The Pacific Islanders lead the All Blacks. One more look at this from the big guy, the new Willie-O, as the Iceman Michael Jones described him.
Well, if he says it, it's good enough for me. He should know something about it.
Don't come any better than Michael Iceman Jones.
And you get the feeling these Pacific Islanders enjoying that dry track out there, Bunty.
Yes, it's the wind's died down as well, so I guess it negates the kicking option of the All Blacks a little.
So it's a confident Pacific Islanders side.
And that's the danger, Hamish. The All Blacks have to remain structured and disciplined, keep the ball. The danger that these guys pose, they can break out, as we've seen. They can break out at any moment from any part of the field.
20 minutes in the match gone, 14-10, the Pacific Islanders. Maalamu goes downtown to Xavier Rush. He will be having nightmares about those big thundering thighs of Sione Loaki. Loaki trying to take it down on the far side there.
Well, this is the brand of rugby the All Blacks have got to play. It might not look as pretty as running the ball out in the open, but they've got to do the hard yards.
Got to rely on the basics. They bring it back through Joe Rokafoko, not shy to get involved in the close quarter exchanges. Back up for Chris Jack. Good run from Jack. Just 3 metres out. Chris Jack shows the ball. Case Muse has a bit of a dive. Marshall waits. Justin Marshall thinks about trying to get 2 tries. Now it's intercepted away by Anoki Afiaki. Here they go again, the Pacific Islanders. Brian Limar. Oh, great defence. Tackle had to be made. If the pass had been given, Fa'atau would have been in at the other end. Seremai Mbai looks to get on with it. Gives the pass up to Tanavili. Aleki Latui just can't free it. All Blacks desperately hanging on here. Oh, magnificent stuff. The Pacific Islanders leading by 14 points to 10. Couple of good runs. Damaging with ball in hand. And he has really impressed at scrum time too. Certainly getting the better of Felicia on that occasion. But needs to keep the momentum up, this Case Muse. As this All Black side. They're in for one heck of a game. Trailing 14-10. Scrum about to set.
We talk about the All Blacks attacking ability from breakdowns. Well, those Pacific Islanders aren't doing a bad job either. The ball goes loose. Boy, goodness, they've got some great counter-attack.
Carter. Wonderful counter-attack, Bull Allen.
Number 5, holding on in front, pulling the player off the ball. Leave him alone, thank you. Number 5.
Might have been big. Keith Robinson was guilty of taking somebody out there.
Yeah, certainly a big gap appeared from nowhere.
The old Red Sea opened up for no apparent reason.
Oh, well, it's good if it works for you. You've got to try these things. You've got to test the letter of the law at times.
3 penalties apiece given away. Canavilli will look for the touchline and the attacking lineup. Of course, this Pacific Island team, if they can get ball off the back of the line out and quick ball, and be wonderful backs.
The skill level's been very good so far, fellas. Only 3 handling errors.
Keep going, thank you, that's great.
Some good skills being shown. John O'Gibbs here doing a good work, grafting it up.
There's Keith Robinson just taking one defender out.
Yeah, he tried to grab hold of another one too.
They come to the front through Rawanga. Canavilli does well to pick this one up.
I'm impressed the way they're turning over the ball at the Pacific Islanders. At breakdowns, they're getting good support.
Carter had to make the tackle there on Loaki. Only just held on to him. Driven on by Felici, the Tongan. Plays this rugby in the Bay of Plenty. And a penalty to the Pacific Islanders. And this one is certainly kickable.
Blackhand pulling it out.
Is that the way they're going to do it? Is that the way they're going to go?
Oh, you can't turn down an opportunity like this for 3, Hamish. I think it might have been Carl Heyman there with his hand in the ruck. We'll have to look on the forward replay. But as I said, Loaki, he's having a busy game, isn't he?
Full credit to Carter here. He went where you have to go to take him down. Just couldn't quite get the hold there, and there wasn't quite the numbers there to support his initial tackle. He is having a monster game, though, Loaki. The thing you got to say, I guess, Frank Bunce, at the moment is it is a wonderful combination of Pacific Island flair that we've already always known about, and of course a good pattern.
Yeah, definitely, and good technique. Paul mentioned the good work they're doing in the rucks and mauls and the handling. You can see it down at ground level, the way they enter, the good body positions. I don't know that they've given away too many penalties in the rucks and mauls, but you've got to admire their technique.
Relishing the conditions at North Harbour Stadium. The Serema Mbai comes in. Well, he's just pushed it to the right, so the All Blacks get off the hook there.
I think the All Blacks will need to look at their discipline in rucks and mauls as well, Hamish. They're giving away 2 or 3 penalties now, and it's proving costly.
Yeah, certainly lucky to get away with that as Carlos Spencer as the restart. The drop out from the 22 down to the danger man. Loaki twisting and turning. Xavier Rush says he's mine. Decks him. Villi cross to Rawanga. Chance to have the scrum for the All Blacks.
Yeah, Brian Lima wasn't expecting that one, I don't think.
The pass just a little low there from Rawanga. It just drops off a little bit early. Let's have a look there.
Well, that was the right way to work the angle, but the pass wasn't good.
Stay half, please. Stay there, half. Not in the space.
Spencer bringing Rico Gear into the action. Daniel Carter, that was forward, only just.
Got to say, Buncey, Rico Gear in his few opportunities, doing a pretty good job thus far.
Yeah, he's got to be happy with the work he's done. He's had a couple of good runs. We had a huge tackle first up. He's got to be happy with that.
He's busy, isn't he, from the wing there, trying to get involved, which is important for wingers.
Exactly, and he hasn't had a lot of rugby lately.
Look for Case Muse to put the pressure on Felici on this side. That's the area that's been working for the All Blacks. Ooh, that was a bit ugly. Muse went down on this side.
Still had the shunt on though, Bull.
Where the All Blacks are doing well at scrum time, Hamish, it's on the engagement. That's where they're getting the initial first few metres. Look at this on the forward replay. The pressure comes on and boom for it, just goes down there. But the All Blacks are really getting a good hit and getting that momentum. Engagement is so important at scrum time.
There's a couple of the coaching staff. John Bowe, of course.
Well, you'd have to say the Brains Trust at this stage have certainly done their homework, haven't they?
John Bowe, very, very competent coach, and of course, Michael Jones. You can't say enough about him, and you can't say enough about the role that Canavilli's playing. There's Loaki again. Gibbs gets him this time, driven up by Anoki Afiaki. Lutui, solid bloke for a hooker, 115 kilos. Serema Mbai, wide to Lomi Fa'atau, steps away from Umanga, who turns him back into the tackle of Marty Holler.
Driving forward, black ball.
Nervous looking All Black bench. Jerry Collins, I'm sure he'd love to be part of this tonight.
Warming up his shoulders as you well might do.
Having a good game on the forward replay is Canavilli.
Well, he's only 78 kgs, but he's very elusive.
Spencer running, turns it back into Umanga. Roluni makes the tackle. Here for Marshall. He's spotted the gap, Marshall, and he has Rakathoko in support. Good chasing by Limar. Picked up by Keith Robinson. They only need to shift it, and there's a guaranteed 5 points on offer here. Here it comes. First test try on debut for one of Gisborne's finest, Rico Gear.
Well, we've just seen the worth of Justin Marshall. He is fantastic on that loose ball. Just picked it up at the back. Joe Rakathoko, as always, got gunned down there. Brian Lima doing some good work defensively. But this is smart play. Just a quick movement of the ball here. We always had the numbers. Just the draw and pass. Rico Gear finishes it off. First test, first try. And let's face it, we needed it.
Conversion successful this time from Carter. And the All Blacks are in front, 17-14. One more look on the forward replay.
Yeah, just see Keith Robinson. It was good support. The support got there quickly to Joe Rakathoko. Keith Robinson there doing a good halfback's impersonation, but always had the numbers, as you say. Ball, a nice crisp passing. Rico Gear.
A few weeks ago he thought his season was over when injured in the last round robin match for the Blues.
Well, it's great to see him fronting up tonight, Hamish, because we haven't got a huge amount of wingers in this country that are certainly capable of playing at this level.
The bloke in the other team might get the call up before long when he becomes eligible. I might add to that, Bill Allen. Sivavatu. But yes, Rico Gear going very well. Back for Spencer. Runs away from Tonga Uia and finds touch with a nice kick. Carlos Spencer. Half an hour gone.
I'm just thinking, is it half an hour gone already? It's such an enjoyable game with so much movement and skill. The time is just whizzing by.
3 tries to 2 in favour of the All Blacks. But the Pacific Islanders have certainly had their share of this game so far. Latui with the throw to the line-out. Sione Barnes storming. Bullocking. Loaki. Good take again by Rawanga. Space created on the outside here for Seru Rambeni, who bounces off Mills Muliaina in the first instance. Tanavili. Latui thump backwards. Roluni. It's a little bit slower getting the numbers there at the moment, the Pacific Islanders. Plenty of forwards, though, hanging off.
They're looking a bit tired, Hamish. Just looking off the screen at the moment, there's a few walking around. It's been a pretty hectic pace.
And the penalty given to the All Blacks. Marshall wants to get on with it. But I imagine they might take the 3 on offer here.
Yeah, I think the Pacific Islands are just starting to feel a pinch a bit, Bunsey. What does it look like down sideline?
No, I agree with you. Guys walking around, the body language isn't wonderful. But I mean, that's a tactic, I guess, that the All Blacks knew that they'd have in their favour.
Yeah, 2 men above him, mate, trying to grab
it. That Xavier Rush at the bottom of that, making yet another tackle. Haunted by that miss on Loaki early. He hasn't missed anything else. Let's have a look at the debut so far of Rico Gear, that magnificent big hit right at the start of the game, and then he's got himself involved with some nice runs, and then a try on debut for Rico Gear as Daniel Carter lines up the penalty attempt, kick of 41 metres out in front of the sticks. Chance to take the All Blacks out to a 6-point lead, and it comes. Carter. It will have the distance. It will have the accuracy. It has the desired effect. Penalty, Daniel Carter. The All Blacks lead 2014. So back to halfway for the restart. Jeremiah Mbai. Good work in the air from Chris Jack, but the All Blacks just blow it there.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed with that. It's been an area of their play that they have really brushed up on well this year. Ball in the air we've been securing very well from kickoffs. Chris Jack doing everything right, good support from his lifters, and him and Mialamu just knocking it out of his hands.
Front row's just going down.
Feet up close.
Jesse on this side.
No, we're just waiting.
Look for the hit here from the All Blacks. Look at that. Straight away, they get the initiative. Good scrum leads to knocking the Pacific Islanders back behind the advantage line.
Tanavili up for Brian Limar. Lomi Fatau trying to get on the outside, loses the ball. Oh, lovely flick back. I think it was Keith Robinson, but the All Blacks can't control it. Marshall's in all sorts of trouble here.
Stay there, stay there.
All Blacks do pretty well, and they'll have numbers here to the right too. Carter in some space from inside his own 22. Across to Rokathoko. Comes back inside, twisting and turning. More step than John Travolta. Marshall. Down to Rambeni. Waiting Keith Robinson. Getting a little bit loose here. Spencer isolated. Has to weave his magic and go to his bag of party tricks to get out of that trouble.
He's done it.
Does well in the end though. Cool heads required, and once again a bit of space here. Good tackle. Nicely popped up from Muliaina to Rico Gear. Marshall onto it at pace. Owaki just makes the tackle. Nobody at home at halfback. Turnover ball. Might have been a hand in there.
You're coming from the side. Come all the way around the back, please. From the side and the hand.
Yeah, I think we'll see in the forward replay if we catch a glimpse of it. Pacific Islanders is coming in from the side, not coming in through the back door, which is illegal, of course.
Stewart could have sent the Jackrabbit Slims. So the penalty for the All Blacks. Carlos Spencer just taking his time to go across here, and why wouldn't you? What a game it's been. There's Filippo Levy. He wanted to be part of the action, but not required at this stage.
Everybody keen to get a taste of this.
Justin Marshall hit this one at pace in the forward replay. Ouch. That looked very painful.
Yeah, it takes a lot to take down Justin Marshall.
Yeah, just coming in from the side there. Pacific Islanders. Great chance here. Look for the All Blacks to rock and roll through a maul.
Gibbs at the back. I think he might have managed to pull that in one-handed. There's Case Muse. 5 metres out. They look to keep it up and keep the drive on.
Oh, good work for Muse to keep it protected in there.
All Blacks have this under control. 4 metres out. Muse has his big mitts on it. Carlos Spencer driving Muse over. Try. Bad news for the Pacific Islanders. The try-scoring feats of Case Muse continue. The greatest try-scoring prop in the history of Test rugby.
Well, he was involved a few times, Case Muse, in this. But here we see the All Blacks have got it at the back of the maul. Got the men in front of Case Muse doing the work. He breaks off there. Only a couple of little backs in front of him. No problem for the big fella. Just marches on over.
Look at Carlos in there.
This is the kind of stuff that's going to kill the Islanders. The forward pack, that mauling, the tight stuff, it really takes its toll. And it might not be pretty, but as you say, Bull, we need everything we can get.
Well, it's pretty effective in the Bunty, and of course, it takes the sting out of the Pacific Islanders' legs. There's a lot of work in there trying to hold that up, those mauls and things up, and it's very tiring.
Yeah, you're right, it certainly does.
Great platform there from the All Blacks.
Bunty, so much to be said. We go back to the World Cup, where John Mitchell belatedly said his team lacked experience. Well, experience tonight. You are seeing it from the Gibbs, the Rushes, the Muses, the Jacks of this world. They knew they had to go to plan B, and they're certainly doing it.
That's exactly right. Don't leave Justin Marshall out of that either.
Exactly.
And that's a good call, because the All Blacks have been accused of having no plan B, but they've changed their tactic, and as you say, it's paying dividends.
Here's Carl Heyman, remember, on this ground 3 years ago against Manu Samoa. He became All Black 1000. Case Muse again.
Just clean him out, mate.
Here's John O'Gibbs. Oh, lovely work from John O'Gibbs. Marshall looking for support. It's not there. Knocked forward. Whistle goes. Scrum for the Pacific Islanders. All Blacks lead 27-14. Closing in on half-time at North Harbour Stadium.
Well, I'd like to see how many yards Justin Marshall's made in tonight's game. By goodness, he's made some yards. Great little pass here from John O'Gibbs, and Marshall, once again, like just hitting the ball at pace, just coming from deep and just driving it forward. Excellent anticipation from him.
Yeah, the holes are starting to open up a little around the rucks and balls of the Pacific Island team.
Well, we're winning plenty of ball, Bunty. According to those stats, Justin Marshall's had the ball in his hands about 38 times, so he's had plenty of opportunities to do things with it.
Yeah, let's have a look at the form of Justin Marshall. Lovely passing, strong, good body position for the try. And this lovely break here. Here he goes. Another run all night, and just absolutely hits the ball at pace.
Yeah, 33 metres gain there, valuable metres.
Now we see Filippo Levi get his chance. Well, Captain Inoki Afiaki is off.
Levy will bring some bulk, certainly, to the second row, to the locking position. Again, though, the All Blacks get the way on at scrum time and put pressure on the Pacific Islanders as Tanavili gets the kick away, downtown towards halfway. Muliaida waits. Good chase. Floating by. Jack. Back for Kevin Mayalamu. Takes on Brian Limar. Limar comes off second best. Good work. Umaga, Spencer. Marty Holler. He might have had Sione Lawaki in the radar, so he did pretty well. Rush into Fa'atau.
Case Muse once again. He has had a massive first half.
Rakathoko goes in there and rucks it out as Spencer decides to go away with a drop goal. It's not even going to make it halfway. Fair mark called for. And Sivavatu will put it into touch. Half-time at North Harbour Stadium, 27-14. What a 40 minutes of rugby, Bull Allen.
Well, it's been exciting, hasn't it? And I think the area the All Blacks have really shown some growth in is going to plan B, trying different tactics.
Yep, they've concentrated on the basics. They have the lead by 27 points to 14. Rock and roll and tries aplenty between the All Blacks and the Pacific Islanders at North Harbour Stadium. The first when Carlos Spencer gave it some Daniel Vittori and Joe Rakathoko was there. But the Islanders straight back into it. Seru Rambeni muscling his way over for the riposte. Then it was Justin Marshall, the veteran, over for the five-pointer.
I have to say, Lawaki, I think this was my favourite try. Lawaki, the big strong fella, running like a winger, but he's a loose forward, of course. And Sevi Vatu, he knows how to finish this boy.
Absolute beauty for Sidavini Sivavatu. Then it was debut try time for Gisborne goal, Rico Gear. Didn't he love that? Then the big man, Case Muse, the greatest try-scoring prop in the history of Test rugby. Crowd certainly getting their money's worth tonight at North Harbour Stadium, 27-14. The score between the All Blacks and the Pacific Island as well. Bull Allen there, possession very evenly shared, but the All Blacks have had the better of the territory.
Yeah, they have, of course. The most impressive stat for the All Blacks is the scoreline, but the territory is really starting to take its toll on the Pacific Islands, isn't it?
Yeah, one thing there though, missed tackles. Graham Henry will not be happy about the number 8 missed tackles. Not talking about Xavier Rush. The number of missed tackles by the All Blacks, not too good. Not too far away from the second half. We're going to go down sideline now. Frank Bunce is with Andrew Mertens.
Andrew Mertens, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. I guess this is one time you're quite happy that you're not out there.
Well, the obvious answer is yes. I don't know if that's my style of game, that sort of physical encounter, as you know, but yeah, it doesn't look like it's been fun in the first half. I don't think it ever is against an island team. They come at you pretty hard, as you know. But I think the boys are starting to get on top, and after maybe taking a couple of hits early on where it was probably easy to start forcing a few passes, I think we've got a wee bit of composure back and starting to graft our way back up the field.
Yeah, what sort of tactic did you take into it? The first half, a little bit of wind when we came out before. Was there a kicking tactic involved?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, you don't want to give these guys a chance to knock you over behind the advantage line, and it's the easiest way to get these guys to get their tails up is let them hit you. And so we wanted to get in behind them, and obviously the first kick was a beauty, and we scored a great try. It was great to see Rox get on the scoreboard, because he doesn't too often these days. But yeah, it's just a matter of sort of moving them around a wee bit, attack at the right times, but certainly not giving them a chance to get their tails up, and they did at times, and they've shown a lot of I think they've shown a lot of discipline, the Island team, and a lot of prowess in terms of their ball maintenance and stuff like that. I think they're really dangerous, and so it's important to keep the ball away from them.
Excellent, thank you very much. Enjoy your comeback and everything else going well.
Cheers, mate. Enjoying my seat in the stand at the moment.
All right, cheers.
Okay, the Henry Burns with Frank Butt's chance now to do some winning with the Ford All Black Experience. Get away at North Harbour Stadium, 27-14, the All Blacks lead the Pacific Islanders. It's been a beauty so far. Spencer gets a bit of Albany snow on that one. Try scoring feast in the first 40 minutes. All Blacks setting up with 4 tries to 2. Good work off the top from Rawanga. Tanavili. Brian Limar can't get away from Tana Umanga. Roluni, Lowaki. And into touch. Marshall takes the quick one.
Pacific Islands here just trying to work the short side. Filippo Levy losing control there. And I'm sure the Pacific Islanders would have addressed their scrum at half-time. It's an area they certainly need to work on. Been under a lot of pressure in the first half.
Marshall, Rokotoko. Roluni makes the tackle with Tanavili. Back for Marshall again. Again, he probes those close-in quarters, gets the pass up to Spencer, runs into Rambeni. Not quite in the same fashion that Clyde Rathbone did last week, though. And it's ball here for Filippo Levy, and numbers to the right. Tanavili gets away from Rokotoko, still going. Tanavili, nice run. Keith Robinson makes the tackle with Marty Holler. They would need to strike back first after half-time. Limar, that pass was a metre forward. Rawanga, the big lock forward, stretches his leg, then puts the kick in behind for Sivavadu, who bags a pair. What a start to the second 40.
And what absolute brilliant skills from Mo'unga. Running down the sideline, he plays a bit of sevens this boy. You can see the way he's running with his pace. And what fantastic vision. Running out of space down the sideline. And look at this, kicks off his right foot, the wrong foot running down the left-hand touchline. That pops up to Sevi Vadu. Absolutely brilliant skills from the big lock forward. You don't see much better than that.
That's the beauty of the Pacific Island play, eh, Ball? A lock ranging down the touchline, full flight like that, little chip kick.
Well, to get the kick with accuracy, running at full pace like that, Bunsey off the wrong foot, not a bad effort.
It's not a bad effort at all.
Look at the smile on the faces of 2 guys who one day, you get the feeling, might just be swapping jerseys.
Well, they'll be teammates, I'd say, but in another team.
The one they're playing now. Lowaki and Sivavatu, Sinoveni Sivavatu. Still, the concept of the Pacific Islanders team continues to grow. It will gain more momentum regardless of what the result ends up being here tonight. Conversion attempt is away. 27, plays 19.
He'd be a disappointed man, Inoki Afiaki, Pacific Islands captain. Any news on him, Bunty? Do you know what's wrong with him?
No, I'm not sure. It was a leg injury, Paul, but they haven't said yet. I'll go and speak to the doctor shortly.
Ifiremi Rawanga.
He's having a stormer, Hamish. 5 takes in the line-outs, and he's very good around the park as well with the ball in hand.
Yeah, he's the dominant force in the line-outs, is Rawanga. And he's set up that try. Carter. Umanga. Muliaina. Good defence again from Brian Lemar. Advantage to the All Blacks here. Back from Marshall. Spencer. Rawanga waiting out in the middle of the park to make that tackle. High rev Kev. Mealamu. Spencer.
Nothing there.
Offside. And Carlos Spencer knew it too.
Just pulling the half back, okay?
He's played with pretty much a cool head tonight. A couple of mistakes early on. Running the cutter pretty well, Carlos Spencer.
Yeah, just a couple of kicks, Hamish, that he's lacked a bit of accuracy with, but apart from that, he's had pretty good composure.
Well, I think that's a key word tonight for this All Black side.
Well, it's easy to lose your composure when you're getting smashed around, but they're doing a good job, the All Blacks.
Take the ball here, please.
And let's give some credit to the Pacific Islanders. They are playing they're looking very well drilled, aren't they?
Well drilled, but all the excitement and all the flair is there too. As Mealamu looks for his target, Xavier Rush down the back. Looking to get the drive on. Marshall, well, does well again. Twisting, turning, looking for a support. There it is, Marty Holler. Workaholic. Carl Heyman. Great to have that sort of rural hard man in the middle of the All Black pack. Marshall again. Holler. Pulled down high by Latui. Marty Holler hasn't moved at all. Touch judge has got something to say here. Marty Holler was hit in a very high tackle.
Up and away, hey, up and away. Up and away, let's
he
not
is
be silly.
groggy, to say the least. Latui was the man.
Hang on, just calm down. We'll deal with, just calm down, we'll deal with what we see.
Calm down is the call from Stuart Dickinson.
Nothing for hit, no problem.
Well, Marty Holler's back on his shanks.
Time back on. Scrum.
Let's have a look at this on the forward replay. Well, he just got his caught around the ear there, and he got his neck screwed a bit, didn't he? It's a bit high.
We're just crouch and hold there. Engage.
Look for the All Blacks to put a bit of acid on the scrum.
Been impressed with Stuart Dickinson tonight, the referee.
They're up.
It's a better scrum from the Pacific Islanders. All Blacks moving nowhere on that time.
Just a word on Inoki Afiaki. Achilles problem, but also cut mouth, so he's really been in the wars. He won't be back.
And it is Filippo Levi, man from Otago, who's taken over from Afiaki.
And in the island way, the best traditions of the islands, he can't go back on because someone's taken his boots.
Spencer, Carter, Rico Gear, flicks it wide, Rakathoko. Joe Rakathoko gets his second. Lovely work from the All Black scrum. Teammates coming across to congratulate him.
Well, the All Blacks scrum had the way on. They could almost gone for the shoulder. They were marching it forward, but they released the ball. And Rico Gear coming in from the right wing side, coming in midfield, throws the beautiful big long looping pass to Joe Rakathoko. It was just all clean, wide open sailing ahead from when he took this ball.
Forward replay, Rico Gear, 16 caps, 24 tries for Joe Rakathoko.
How'd you like to look at this one, Bunty? That good, huh?
He's speechless. Frank Bunce is so impressed. So Carter lines up the conversion. The try scored by Joe Rokotoko. There he comes. Nicely struck. Carter gets the conversion. All Blacks in front. 34-19. North Harbour Stadium, Albany. Rico Gear on debut.
Well, generally when there's so many tries scored in a game, Hamish, you'd suggest that the defence has been a bit flaky. But that hasn't been the case. There's been some wonderful skills shown, good hard defensive work, and some beautiful skills to score some outstanding tries.
Still more than half an hour remains as Spencer gets the kick away. Waiting down for it here, the number 8. Koya Maibole. Seru Rambeni. Play on, Roluni. Mosisi Roluni. Keith Robinson makes the tackle. Popped it up to Filippo Levi. And knocked forward. Warming up here is Nick Evans. Well, he was a local lad until this week. North Harbour player, of course, he's signed to go down to Otago, and he comes into the game to replace Mills Muliaina. Mills on to ice for the Tri-Nations. Nick Evans to get a bit of a taste of what it's like out there in this sort of confrontation. Huge scrum from the All Blacks, but this guy's done pretty well all night off the back. Koya Mai Mbole. Mawaki takes it up. We just lost forward in there, but play on, says the referee. Tonga Uia. Tanavili turns it up to Siravini Sivavatu. Gee, I'd like to get a tackle count on Keith Robinson. He's been outstanding. Here goes Lawaki. He sent Case Muse back in a rain of knots. And Kevin Maialamu eventually got him underneath. Another little chip and chase in behind. Fair mark called by Rico Gear. Good skills.
Sorry, fellas, technical hitch, but I'm back. I'm back with you.
I've never heard going to get a hot dog a technical hitch, Bunsey.
Sorry, boys.
Keith Robinson, he's made 7 tackles.
Here we go. We got another. Sorry, Hamish. We got another replacement. Big Tongan prop. Yeah, this is going to be good.
Tomo Piao.
Yep, there we go.
Tavita Tomo Piao. He's played a bit here for North Harbour.
Played for North Harbour, played for the Blues.
Yeah, he's been around the block a couple of times, and I think that's a good tactical change.
Enjoys a steak.
Several by the look of it. He's a beast.
Filippo Levi, good take.
I'll just put it to this way, Hamish. Wouldn't be coming around to my place for dinner.
Roludi. Back to Tanavili. That's gone too far. Gear and Evans have plenty of time. First touch here for Nick Evans. There's that lovely raking long-range punt. But really, that set up too nicely for Seru Rembeni.
I guess that's what Graham Henry's put Nick Evans on for. Got a much longer kicking game than Mills Muliaina. Need to be getting out of our territory, of the All Blacks territory, sorry, and playing the game down in the Islanders half.
Frank Bunce's sideline, Hamish Mackay and Mark the Bull Allen. The commentary team tonight on 3 Sport Free for All. Enjoying this one from North Harbour Stadium. Albany, 34-19. The All Blacks lead the Pacific Islanders.
And how could you not enjoy this as a rugby enthusiast? It's got everything, hasn't it? Fantastic match.
Seeing raw power and control up front. We're seeing plenty of flair. Teams playing to their strengths. Entertaining rugby. But Mbeni gets away easily from Rokotoko and Carter in the end. He's kicking behind. Runs it at the touch just short of the 22. Let's have a look at the action tonight from the front rowers. With the ball in hand, here goes Carl Heyman. Kevin Maialamu, well, he's an expert at it. Great work, Kevin Maialamu. Here we go, truck and trailer. From the line out. Pacific Islanders pouring in here, trying to force the turnover.
Driving forward there.
All Blacks will get the scrub. One or two boos in the crowd.
No, that's for the Mexican wave, Hamish.
Didn't quite happen, Bunsey.
No, section of the crowd.
Well, they've got it going in front of us. There's the front rows. There they go. (34-19). Still 28 minutes remaining. Justin Marshall has been outstanding tonight. He is the proverbial bottle of vintage red. Just gets better with age in his 73rd Test match. Justin Marshall over for the try. Good skills, strong, great vision. Takes on the defence. Having an absolute perler. So play. It's a little bit of a hold up here. Injury break. Look in the thick of that, Rwanga. 34-19.
Time back on.
Referee Stuart Dickinson says time back on. Trying to get back underway. Xavier Rush peels off the back, makes 2 or 3 metres over the gain line. Nice ball back for Marshall, onto Spencer. Spencer goes to the boot. Cyril Rambeni coming across for it. Puts the chip over the top. Spencer goes without it. Keith Robinson gets back for it. Great skills from the big lock.
He had to cover a lot of yardage to get there.
Here's Marty Holler.
Stay back, please. Here we go.
Back for Marshall. Rambeni.
His positional play has been outstanding tonight.
Kick away there by Sorelli. Bombo is out there in 22. Carlos Spencer certainly using the kicking game.
As are the Islanders, Hamish. They certainly want to play the game down where, down in the corners, sorry. Keeping the All Blacks pinned back.
Yeah, they've certainly done their homework from last week's game against the Australian team. Bunsey, haven't they? They struggled a bit in that area last week. Tonight they've been a lot better in that area.
Certainly Spencer using the pass and run option, but of course very astute selection of when to kick. And that first one, there was an absolute beauty. Set up that opening try for Rocket Coco. Enjoying this one on 3 Sport. Here we go through Daniel Carter. Xavier Rush has been a force in the lineouts. 4 clean takes now. He's become the target that they're using and using effectively. In this case, Muse. John O'Gibbs. Sione Lawaki, one of the players who bounced off Gibbs then. Play on, says the referee. Here goes Lawaki. Oh, he just pushes off Marshall, and Lawaki will go all the way. Tana Rumang has given up the chase. Sione Lawaki is playing his way into a black jersey.
Oh, I'd say he's well and truly done that, Hamish. He has been absolutely superb. He's one of the most dangerous men on this field when he's got that ball in hand. And he gets it in his hand plenty of times because his work rate's pretty good.
Well, there you go. Justin Marshall a little bit unhappy there. Keith Robinson does well to protect the ball. There was a hand in there from Filippo Levy, the Maradona.
Well, Lawaki, he couldn't believe his luck, could he?
Yeah, well, he knew that something had gone a little bit amiss in there, but away he goes. Sione Lawaki, how he ever missed out on a place in the Blues this year, I'll never know, because he was outstanding in the NPC last year for Auckland. He went to the Chiefs, he made every post a winner, and he is again here tonight. Destroyed the Wallabies last week, and he's having some fun against the All Blacks this week.
Well, it's not bad to score against 2 of the powers of world rugby. The Wallabies last week, the All Blacks tonight. Fine effort from him.
Jeremiah Mbai comes in. That's beautifully struck. Flags go up. Lowaki the try. Converted by Mbai. 34-26. Only 8 points in it.
We've got a game on our hands yet.
I tell you what.
It's fantastic.
Stand by. Watch this space. Two tries in the second half from the Pacific Islanders. It's 4 for the match from them, 5 from the All Blacks so far. Here's Rico Gear.
No. Leave him, just leave it, 9. Don't
Lowaki.
stop.
Bit of frustration creeping in here.
Come out, just come out.
Haven't seen anything of that tonight, but I think it was for a shoulder charge with no arms from Sione Lowaki. We'll just have a little look at this.
I think Justin Marshall...
Let's just hear Stuart Dickinson.
Okay, just leave him alone. I'll deal with it. You might be frustrated, but you're only going to start something else and make it worse, okay? You've got the penalty already, just leave it alone. Yeah. Okay, please calm down. Mate, you just come in, it's a little arm there and low, and a bit of a shot in there. No.
A shot in there from Sione Lowaki.
Yeah, mate, just...
Well, you know one thing for sure, Hamish. Justin Marshall's never going to back down.
It didn't really need to go on though, did it? It was something made out of nothing.
Spencer again hasn't found touch from the penalty.
He's not going to be happy with some of the aspects of his kicking game tonight.
Marshall keeps it in play. Good skills. Huge pass across to Rakatoko. The defence up on him very quickly though. Trying to get away from the big prop. Can't do so. Tonga Uia makes the tackle. All Blacks have possession. Here goes Marshall. Pressure on Umaga across to Carter. Sorelli Bombo up on him. Pacific Islanders have got a sniff of this, and they are dangerous. Roluni. Advantage to the Pacific Islanders. Marty Holler comes away with it. Knocked forward. Semo Shatiti warming up.
Yeah, he's making an entrance. Samoan captain.
Yep, Samoan World Cup captain.
Oh, this game's just gone to another level now. There's a bit of fire in there. You just feel it building up out there. The heat's up.
Fresh legs coming into it will be crucial.
Yeah, smart subbing. It's been a hard physical game.
Dovi Verata is the man going off. Replaced by Shatiti. Case Muse coming through there and knocking it forward. Only 8 points in it. 5 tries to 4, and some concerned faces up there. The team have done so much well tonight. Graham Henry on the right, Steve Hansen, Brian Lahore and Wayne Smith. Let's have a look at Sione Lowaki. Has been outstanding. There was the big push-off of Xavier Rush that led to Sivavatu's try. Here he goes again, shows the ball on that time. And here he just picks up with this one. This was sort of reminiscent of that try for the Chief against the Blues, where it came from nothing. And in he goes. Sione Lowaki. Had the pleasure of interviewing him for the first time on network television. He was seen this week, Sione Lowaki, and
we're just waiting.
he got full. I've got to say, he's a big bloke.
Guys, we got Tane Tuipulotu in there. I think it's just blood.
Chance here. Just hold the phone, Bunsey. There goes Roluni. Lutui. You've still got 20 minutes to go here. Keith Robinson makes the tackle on Tonga Uia. Tanavili almost goes through, taken down by Holler 5 metres out. Rampant industry now.
Holding on, hey, easy.
Sensational work, Marty Holler. Was all over Red Rover if it wasn't for him.
See how quickly he got to his feet to contest that ball.
I've been impressed with this little first 5'8". Tanavili, he is deadly with the ball in hand. He has made a number of breaks tonight and caused us all sorts of headaches.
Well, he shows the ball, doesn't he? He's got lovely acceleration. And he just has the ability to keep the opposition guessing as to what he's going to do next. That sleight of hand.
He has a vision about him too. He knows where to run and what lines to take.
Well, you can talk about not wanting this concept to grow too much to the detriment of the Fiji, Samoan and Tongan teams, but I tell you what, I'd love to see more of this. I think it's great, the Pacific Islanders. Carl Heyman.
Yeah, I think the All Blacks are going to keep it, start to tighten it up a bit, try and draw on these defenders, but they haven't done it on this occasion. Pacific Islanders spread out across the field, waiting for the All Blacks to come at them. Great work from Marty Holler there, though, over the gain line.
27-14 is the biggest lead the All Blacks have had, but never really a lot of breathing space. Here we go through Daniel Carter. Xavier Rush, good support play. Short on numbers, back to the right. Umanga, Holler. Umanga slipping and sliding, gets back to his feet, needs some support. Marshall, Keith Robinson, Nick Evans. Taken in the tackle by Tani Tuipoloto. Good work from Evans to maintain that possession in there, Carter. Mealamu. Kevin Mealamu bursting through. Mealamu. Jono Gibbs. Gibbs. Knocked on, lost forward.
She's certainly pretty willing out there.
Yeah, feeling starting to fray a bit, aren't they, Bunsey?
They certainly are. Byron Kelleher warming up on the sideline.
See this in the forward replay. Mealamu made a great break. But Joe Rokethoko unable to handle. Well, that's an interesting sub, Bunsey, particularly the dominant form Justin Marshall's been in tonight.
Yeah, certainly. He's certainly found the gaps, and I think the only gaps, as it turns out, around the rucks and walls. And he's been running strongly, so interesting.
Well, it is, particularly with 19-odd minutes to go. That's a fair chunk of the game.
I think the guys have got to back themselves up. They've got to show the confidence, don't they? And you need guys like Nick Evans and Byron Kelleher to have some hard rugby ahead of the Wallabies and the Springboks.
Yes, you're right there, and I guess there's nothing too shabby about Byron Kelleher's running around the rucks and walls either.
Jerry Collins about to get in the action too.
All I can say is double ouch. The hits are only going to get bigger.
Standing by for two of the bigger hitters to come together, Loaki and Collins. How would you like that? How would you like to be the meat in that sandwich? No. Vili. Tane Tuipoloto. Lost forward advantage with the All Blacks. Here it comes Kelleher. Nick Evans does well to pick it up and show some good pace too. Kicked through by Umanga and into touch in goal. Drop out from the 22.
Scrum 22. Go to 22, so there.
Nick Evans coming in from deep again. He always creates that half gap, doesn't he?
22.
Yeah, just uses his pace nicely, doesn't he?
It's got to make those. It's got to make those passes stick there, don't we, Bunsey?
Right. Bit of a buzz around the ground when Jerry Collins runs on. People expecting a lot of things. And all of a physical nature, I would be thinking.
In he comes. Big JC. Jerry Collins.
On for Chris Jack. So Jono Gibbs will go into lock.
16th test match for Jerry Collins. Yes, Chris Jack, probably, well, he's a quiet match in comparison, or I guess, around the track to Keith Robinson, but he's obviously been buried in the tight. First touch for Jerry Collins, and he decides to crank it right up. Heyman into Loaki. As well, Kelleher. Byron Kelleher. Well, Frank Butts mentioned that he loves to run. Here he goes, Byron Kelleher, still going. pushes off Sivavatu. Strong run from Kelleher. Instant impact. Muse, Spencer, Umanga flings it wide. Almost an interception. Here's Evans on the other side of the field. Collins, 10 metres out. Rokatoko. Tomo Piao makes the tackle. Spencer. Chase Muse only knows one way.
Bit of payback, Loaki, remembering getting bunted off not long ago.
There's Carl Heyman. Nicely popped up. Oh, Umanga. Lost it for an opportunity out here for Sivavatu. Oh, he put the kick on. Here he goes. Sinovini Sivavatu. Oh, a certain try. Goes begging. 34-26, the All Blacks lead. Attacking line out for the Pacific Islanders, who are right in this one. And just came also close to scoring a try. Ball bouncing away from Sivavatu. Tanavili. Umanga on Lima, lost it. Didn't go forward, play on, says referee Dickinson. Oh, what a test match we've seen here tonight. Test with a capital T. In every respect.
And again, a smart option down into the corners, really making the All Blacks work.
Still 15 minutes to go. How about a Five Nations? Pacific Islanders and Argentina at full strength into boot. Then we'd have something to cry about in the Southern Hemisphere.
I'd say, boys, the Wallabies will be sitting back watching this one, resting their whiplash from last week, enjoying every minute.
And looking at the way that the All Blacks have been fully tested here, I don't know it's such a bad thing. I think it's a good thing.
Oh, 100%.
A couple of key men are out of there already on ice, Muliaina and Marshall. It's what you need. You need good, hard, rugged rugby.
It's not a bad thing when you look at a couple of potential recruits in that Pacific Islanders team.
Now you're talking, Bull. Here's Lamu. Without his test jumper.
Swapped it already.
Kelleher. Keith Robinson. Chris Jack, another one of those ones already on ice.
Squeeze it straight away.
Not releasing in the tackle. Penalty, chance to bang it into the corner maybe. Or will they take the 3 on offer?
Yep, I would take the 3 on offer.
There you go. Words of wisdom from Frank Bunce.
Fatal area to be against the Pacific Islanders, isolated with not much support. Keith Robinson paid the price.
Had a good game, this guy, Tonga, New Zealand Colt.
Oh, look at the strength of Kevin Mialamu, though. He is just a powerhouse.
Jeremiah Mbai, 60% strike rate tonight.
Yeah, this is smart play. Still just over 13 minutes to go, plus injury time. So a long way to go in this game. And the Pacific Islanders have certainly been at the right end of the park for some time.
And that territory starting to balance out a little bit. The possession, 57-43 percentage-wise in both territory and possession. Well, they looked to say they were running out of juice. Well, in the end, it proves to not be the right option. We're going to have a dropout from the 22. It looked to say they were tiring at the end of the first 40. It's not apparent as we close in with 12 minutes to go. Happy looking Michael Jones, John Bowe, Johnny the Shoe, Schuster.
They've got a pretty impressive coaching staff, the Pacific Islanders.
It's showing too, isn't it?
Dead right. They've done some great work.
Rambelli, kick goes straight to Kelleher, who's eyed a bit of space here for Rokatoko. Lost forward, kick through.
Lost forward first and an accidental offside there. Yeah, where's mate there?
Well, the All Blacks don't need those sorts of mistakes, do they?
It's been a couple of times down that sideline, Bunsey.
Yeah, tick things as well.
Byron Kelleher has certainly carried on with Justin Marshall's left off.
There was nothing wrong with the pass either. I think Joe should have been trying to take that with 2 hands.
Nice break off the back by Koya Maimbole.
He's been strong, isn't he, and behind a scrum that's been under pressure.
Loaki scragged down by John O'Gibbs. Oh, he has been good. Boy, Martin Bolle. Here's Bombo. Sorelli Bombo. Desperate defence called on again.
Lost by there, no advantage.
8-point margin. Handling errors against the All Blacks. Turnovers even.
I think what the All Blacks need to do here, Hamish, is get it into the hands of Carlos Spencer and kick for field possession. They need to get down the other end of the track, because they've been down this end for a while now, and the Pacific Islanders haven't been able to score, but they need to get down the other end so they can put some pressure back on the Pacific Islanders team.
It's near side of the scrum. There's Justin Marshall. He knows his team has been through a big one. He's had a good game too. Here's Jerry Collins. Tackle made by Satiti.
Yeah, I don't think the All Blacks need to be going wide at this stage. They were making good yardage, you know, finding holes around the fringes of the rucks and mauls, and they should have persevered, I think, with that tactic.
Yeah, I think that's where they started to go midway through the first half, Bunty, and they've sort of come away from it a little bit.
Yes.
Keith Robinson. Been impressed with Tonga Uia's work right around the park, the big loose head prop. 135 kgs, my goodness, that must be about 22 stones on the hoof. He would certainly have the old Wedderburns tipping over.
Play the advantage, 18 whites, play the ball.
Kelleher. Fit and enthusiastic looking Byron Kelleher.
Stay back, please.
Enjoying the environment of the All Blacks in season 2004. Spencer. Collins. Good run, Jerry Collins. Rakathoko.
Stay back, please, take a step.
Spencer. Feet working in there, but a rucking going on.
No harm in that, mate, if they're lying on the ball.
Keith Robinson comes in and drives somebody out off the side.
He is a very fit player, Keith Robinson. He's involved in a lot of stuff.
Driven on by Case Muse is what we're talking about, just bringing it back into the close quarter exchanges. Carl Heyman loses it forward, picked up by Sorelli Wombo. Tanavilli, Rico Gear comes through and scrags him to the deck. Robbed away by Marty Holler, penalty though the Pacific Islanders' way.
Rico Gear, if he didn't make that spot tackle, Sivivatu was just hovering out on the wing, ready to pounce. It's a good play from him. And Tanavilli, got danger written all over it, and he shut it down.
Yeah, read that well, didn't he?
Sometimes you've got to jump out of the line, Bunty, and make those spot tackles, don't you?
Yeah, you certainly do. Opportune time. Too many people do it and miss. But Rico Gear, he picked the perfect time and shut down a possible try-scoring movement.
Get just there, all with you there, all with you there. Stay, maintain the space where he is. Stay there.
Lutui. Rawanga. Rauluni.
Tui Peloto warming up again on this side.
Stay back, please. Take a step. 6 back.
So expect to see him shortly.
Thank you.
Here goes Aleki Lutui into the tackle of Kevin Mayalamu. All Blacks try to turn this one over. Filippo Levy takes it up another metre or two. Tonga Uia gives the tackle up. Short of the 22. Just 8 points the difference. 8 minutes remain. Lima. Cyril Rambani, the tackle had to be made, and it's the skipper that comes up with it. Pops out. Advantage with the Pacific Islanders. Another penalty. Well, they missed one here from a similar position a few minutes ago when they went for the 3 points. Don't know if they will again. But certainly if they kick the penalty, a try would then level it all up and they'd have a conversion to win it. But they're going to go for the touchline and go for the line-out win.
They've missed a couple of handy kicking options, Hamish. A couple of times it's been on and they've blown it.
And they have blown that. That is a shocker blocker.
There's been 3 of those. 2 from Carlos Spence and 1 from Tanavili now.
And that one, though, the ones from Spencer, I don't know that they will matter, possibly in the overall picture. Tanavili.
Brian Limar getting the call. Looks like he's done enough. He's done his work. Put some young, fresh legs into the centres.
Dane Tui Piloto really put paid to Ma'anonu within the Hurricane setup this year. Brian Limar, veteran, comes to the sideline. 59 tests counting tonight.
Oh, good yards from Rush.
Good work here. Kelleher, nice bust from Kelleher.
They've turned the ball over. Here's the danger.
Imbai, Lutui, out to Samosatiti. Numbers left. Need to free it. Filippo Levi in there. Roluni. Here's trouble. This time he puts it on the boot. Does Loaki. Nick Evans. Now it's into touch. Quick one taken. Seromai Mbai, Cyril Rambini. Cool heads required. Daniel Carter just out from his own 22. Push it downfield towards the 22 of the Pacific Islanders. Dane Tui Piloto, Sivavatu, Loaki, Maialamu comes across and whack! Tana Umanga. That was a captain's knock, if you know what I mean. Five minutes remaining in what has been absolutely outstanding encounter.
Copybook tackle there.
Maialamu underneath Umanga with the icing on the top.
Drove in with the shoulder nice and low. Only way to tackle.
Thanks for coming. Good ball off the top. Umanga. Pass wide to Evans, can't control it. Lost forward.
I don't know what you think, Buncey, but the All Blacks, particularly in the second half, have tried to force the ball wide and they've come unstuck quite a few times.
Yeah, you're right, Paul. There's no real need to be doing that. I think they should be sticking with the tactics that we talked about before. They've definitely changed tactics, but you see Byron Kelleher making the ground as well that Justin Marshall was making in his time on the field. It's something they should be sticking with. That's where the meats have been gained. The tries have been scored.
They should be getting runners off that area, shouldn't they? Kelleher's making the breaks, get the runners off, because the All Blacks have really put themselves under pressure out wide.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, basic mistakes, basic passing and catching mistakes.
Wait for me, please.
Well, they've been pleased with the effort of their man. You see just coming at a shot, the beanie on there, Willie Ofahengawe. Picked up by Xavier Rush, the rob from the good scrum from the All Blacks. Knocked down by Tanavili. All Blacks should have possession here, but it's popped out again. Turnover. Roluni. Bit of space for Sivavatu. Umanga giving chase. Sivavatu puts the kick in behind. Rokathoko goes back for it. Joe Rokathoko is going to have on Tane Tui Piloto. Nice ball presentation.
He keeps the ball in well, Joe Rokathoko. This is where they need to kick it downfield.
Here goes Carter. Into touch. 3 long minutes remain. Bombo takes the quick one. Sorelli Bombo trying to get away from Carter. He's got some wheels, this guy.
Hasn't got the kick to match it, though.
Never a strength of Island rugby, is it? Tactical kicking.
Forward replay, here we go. Bombo. Kevin Mayalamu at the front. Presents it back to Case Muse. Spencer, Marty Holler. Jerry Collins. Not releasing, and the tackle is the call.
18 isolated, holding on there.
Bit of frustration coming from the crowd. I can hear calls of come on Black. Not too happy with what they're seeing.
Well, I suppose in a way, Frank, I think that's a little bit disrespectful to the Pacific Islanders, because the All Blacks have only been allowed to play so much tonight. They have had to gut it out big time.
Well, as Pacific Islanders make the English team look a bit of a mockery.
Well, I'd like to see them having a bit of a crack at Sir Clive's motley crew.
Oh, they'd get smashed by this bunch.
Imagine them lining up at Twickenham, taking home a few pounds from that game. Might be just running out of time to pull off the upset. The Pacific Islanders, as Jerry Collins goes into the tackle of Lowaki. Joe Rokothoko.
That was smart play from him. He just give his support players time to get to him.
Chance for the All Blacks to wind the clock down a little bit.
Yeah, I think they'll go for the corner here, take the line out, maul it up, just slow it down.
Thank you. So Carlos Spencer with the ball. I rate this as a very, very good test match. I don't think there'll be too many that will disagree with that.
No, I'm very impressed the way the Pacific Islanders have hung in. You know, we thought that the All Blacks would run away with it. They looked out on their legs going into half-time, the Pacific Islanders, but they have hung tough. They're a class outfit. They've done themselves proud tonight.
Mayalamu finds Rush. Another take for him. Sixth clean take. Into injury time now. Spencer turns it back in field to Joe Rokothoko, who has really given it his all. Tackle made Saturday night at Albany. Check your frequency. Nesian boys on both sides of this team have been making music of the rugby kind for 80 minutes. It's been a ripper.
Take a step. Out of it,
Hands in there. The Hooters gone. Filippo Levy drives out Rush. Xavier Rush won't be too worried about that. Full time is up. What will they do? Will they have one more go? Next time it'll be dead. It'll be all over. The crowd will want them to crank up something.
Scrum.
They're going to take a scrum and work a move.
Well, the crowd are well pleased with that decision. Try and finish with a try.
Entering into the spirit of the occasion, Xavier Rush, Spencer, Carter, Umea. The captain finishes her off with a classic. Beautifully worked from the scrum. The forward replay, Spencer, Carter, through the defence, freed the pass.
Yeah, if you have a look at Carter's pass, sorry, Bull, nicely timed, just a little pop pass. Have a look at it there. Delayed and pop short pass to Tana steaming onto the ball, beautiful.
It all looked rather easy in the end, didn't it? But, gee, they had to work hard to get to that try.
Carter comes in with the conversion attempt, beautifully struck. Flags go up, 41-26. The All Blacks have been in a huge challenge tonight, but they've come through. very well indeed, one would have to say at the end. And Tana Rumanga, he made a couple of tackles that had to be made. He scored the try right on full time, 41-26. You would hope on first look that the All Blacks appear to have come through this one unscathed, Bull Allen, and looking good for the Tri-Nations, because it'll be just as tough next week against the Wallabies in Wellington.
Well, without a doubt, Hamish, that's been the toughest test the All Blacks have had in 2004, quite easily. And I think that'll put them in good shape going to that game against the Wallabies next week, because there's no doubt about that Wallaby outfit. They're better than they were last year, and that's going to be an even bigger test for this All Blacks team. But the All Blacks played well at times tonight, but you've got to give credit to the Pacific Islanders. They did a fantastic job out there.
Let's head down sideline now with the winning skipper.
Congratulations, Tana. A historic occasion for the All Black and New Zealand rugby. First ever game against Pacific Islanders. It looked tough out there.
Yeah, it was very tough, and I'm sure everyone that came here tonight and whoever watched the game enjoyed the game. There's a lot of tries, and I think the Pacific Islanders showed what they can do. They're amazing on a dry night.
It looked like a lot of mutual respect out there from both sides, and it was a genuine test match.
Yeah, very much so, and I think this will hold us in good stead looking forward towards the Tri-Nations, and there's a lot of sore boys tonight.
For the All Blacks, though, you'll be pleased with the intensity they showed right throughout the 80 minutes?
Yeah, I think, we have to pay respect to the Pacific Islanders. They made us have that intensity the whole game because they kept it so close.
And the key, Tana, to the victory, you stuck to the game plan?
Very much so, and although we made a lot of errors and they just capitalised off that, but we've got lots to work on.
Well, thanks very much. He trained hard and good luck as well.
Cheers to it.
The winning captain, Tana Rumanga, as the Pacific Islanders thank their fans. They have been very good tonight. Here's their skipper who was injured out at half-time, Inoki Apiaki.
Yeah, Noki, commiserations on the result, but congratulations on the intensity, the pride and passion that you showed. It was very, very intense.
Yeah, the boys did themselves proud today. I mean, the quality of players in the Pacific is huge, and we've got a wealth of players, to make a team up like this, and it'll be a shame if it doesn't carry on.
The players genuinely believe in this concept, don't they? You could show that in the passion that they show. They genuinely believe in this team.
Yeah, right now it's a desperate time in Pacific rugby. If we don't do something about it, we're going to slip further and further back, and Pacific rugby should be at the forefront of world rugby as well, as we see so many great players in Australia and New Zealand representing the All Blacks and the Wallabies. This is a team that we can be very proud of.
Now, you must have been very proud of the way the team stuck to the game plan. Very good coaching staff, and also you're heading towards South Africa next week.
I know, great coaching staff, and the players have listened well, and it's just credit to everyone that's been on board. We don't have that many management on board, and basically big pats on the back for tonight.
Well, good luck. Please go and join your fellow teammates. Soak up the atmosphere. It was a great test match. Thanks very much.
Well, no doubt, I'm very proud but a little bit disappointed. Inoki Apiaki, 6 tries to 4 in the end. The All Blacks have beaten the Pacific Islanders by 41 points to 26. They deserve the applause that they're getting at the moment. It has been a first-class test match. We'll be back to wrap up all the action after the break on 3 Sports. Over the Pacific Islanders, and a solid debut from this man who hails from Gisborne, Rico Gear. Certainly had a debut that he will remember, scoring a try on debut. Solid all-round game from him. So too from this man, big Case Muse. Excellent work in the close quarter exchanges. At scrum time, he was dynamite with ball in hand, explosive, with a little help from Carlos Spencer there, going over for the try. The big man, Case Muse. The Islanders there, the Pacific Islanders, Simo Satiti, Brian Lima, Rawanga did great work in the line-out. Let's go sideline now with Frank Bunce.
Thanks, Hamish. Talking to Rico Gear and Case Muse. Firstly, Rico, congratulations on your first test match, mate.
Cheers, Buncey. It was pretty tough out there today.
You must be very proud scoring a try on debut as well.
Yeah, I think got the pass from Mills. I was hoping he'd pass it to me. I was just really stoked that he gave it.
And did you find the pace of the game much different?
Yeah, it's a huge step up. They've got one of the quickest probably back 3 around, so it was a big ask.
Well, you did awesomely well, mate, and there are many more to come. Case, not quite the injury toll that they imposed on the Australians last week, but a pretty physical game.
Yeah, totally physical. We knew that they're a very physical side, so we had to come out there and match fire with fire, and I think the boys did that. You know, we've got a few things to work on, but otherwise we're pretty happy with the win.
What were the tactics going into the game?
Basically just to grind them down, you know, tire them out, and then start attacking them out wide, you know. But they didn't go away. They kept in there, and they kept tackling us, knocking us back, and you know, all credit to them. They played very well tonight.
They certainly did. Did you look to change things in the second half, or were you going to stick with the same game plan?
No, definitely. We tried to change things in the second half. We tried to get the forwards more involved in the game and really take their forwards out of the game. But you know, like I said, they stepped up to the mark, and you know, they shut down a lot of our opportunities.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, and good luck for next week.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
Frank Bunce there with Case Muse and Rico Gear as the reserves and the Dirty Dirties go through the warm downs. Simon Mailing, Andrew Mertens out there. The boys have to put the hard yards in if you didn't play the match. Let's have a look at the stats though. 41-26 and Bull Allen in the end there. Just the advantage slightly with the All Blacks territory and possession. A mountain of possession from rucks and mauls.
Yeah, there was. I think Graham Henry wouldn't be too impressed with the missed tackles tonight, Hamish. 17 of those, of course, as Pacific Islanders, missing 19 as well. Turnovers even, line-outs very similar, but territory and possession were the telling factors in the end for the hard-fought win. 15-point margin, and I think that'll put the All Blacks in good shape going against the Wallabies next week.
You're definitely right, Bull, about the missed tackles and the handling errors. Too many of those, 41-26, those 6 tries to 4 in the end from the All Blacks. Have to be pleased with that. Right, when we come back on the 3 Sport, we're going to hear from a couple of the heroes of the Pacific Islanders. Turns in the Pacific Islanders side tonight, starting with big bullocking Sione Loaki. Here he is, laying on the try for his Chiefs teammate Sitiveni Sivavatu. Great combination, and of course the possibility that both these boys may one day wear the All Black jersey. Here was a lovely try laid on by the silky skills of Rawanga, and Sivavatu gets 2 tries. And Loaki bruising runs all night. Gee, did he take some containing. But on this occasion, well, it was reminiscent of the winning try that basically ended the season of the Blues. Loaki in for the try. Let's go down sideline with Frank Bunce.
Veni Sivivatu, Sione Loaki, thanks for talking to us. How did you come through the game?
It was pretty good playing against the All Blacks. Hard opponent, but yeah, we went good through the game.
And you no injuries, you come out feeling good. It's been a wonderful few weeks for you already, and it's not over. You've got Springboks to go next week, so the body's in good shape?
Yeah, my body's good shape. Hopefully the other guys' body's right too.
Yeah, I think your job is to put the bodies of the other guys out of shape, isn't it?
Something like that.
Now, was it difficult to prepare, to prepare for the All Blacks, knowing that, you know, these guys, you play with them week in and week out, as opposed to preparing for the Australians? Was it a different feeling in the camp?
Yeah, it was really different because Australia, they play loose and they don't play tight as the All Blacks, and they play physical games, heaps of Island boys in there, so we prepared pretty well for the game.
And the feeling, knowing that, you know, you could possibly be in the black jersey, there's a possibility of that for next year. Feelings for you going into this game?
I just wanted to play well for this team here and just don't look ahead too far and just do well for this team and yeah, just take it one step at a time.
Oh, that's excellent. It's a wonderful concept. Everyone's gelled together. You play with the pride and the passion that that Pacific Island rugby is known for. So just want to wish you all the very best. You go into South Africa next week, and everybody here is in full support.
Thank you, boys.
Cheers, thanks.
A couple of outstanding performers there. Sione Loaki and Sitiveni Sivavatu down there with Frank Bunce. 41-26 in the end there. Mark the Bull Allen. I guess it was tough for the All Blacks, but they can only from this.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we needed a tough game going into the Wallabies match, and tonight they got it. And, you know, let's face it, the Pacific Islanders put pressure on us all over the park. And I think we responded well. Particularly in the first half, we changed our game plan. Maybe we fell away from that in the second half, but I'm sure we're going to learn from that experience tonight.
Okay, from the All Blacks, who stood out for you?
Well, there was a couple of players that stood out. I thought Rico Gear in his first game tonight performed reasonably well, but Case Mews, absolutely outstanding, did a great job in the scrum, ball on hand, absolutely superb. And Justin Marshall, I thought was absolutely outstanding. He made valuable metres when it really counted.
I thought Byron Kelleher did pretty well when he came on too. Loaki outstanding for the Islanders. Now this is a concept that's got real wheels, hasn't it, the Pacific Islanders?
Well, what we need at Test match rugby is hard games week in, week out. I think the trouble is with Test match rugby sometimes there's a big difference between the top echelon and the teams below that. So if we can get stronger teams playing, I think it's going to lift the whole standard, and that's exactly what Test match rugby requires.
Okay, cheers, Bull. Well, of course, the Pacific Islanders now play the Springboks, but next week on 3 Sport from 8:30, it's the All Blacks into the Tri-Nations against the Wallabies. Funnily enough, the winning score for both those teams over the Pacific Islanders, both occasions by 15 points. So we are certainly looking forward to that from Wellington next week on 3 Sport from 8:30 next Saturday night. Righto. From the team here at Albany, North Harbour Stadium tonight, we've certainly enjoyed this one. Hope you have too at home. Good night.